Hi everyone, in this video we are going to see how to use group selection tool in Adobe Illustrator. We are going to start with a basic design and then move on to something big like this pattern. We are going to create this pattern and then apply the group selection tool. Let's get started. So the topics we are going to cover today are what is a group selection tool, how they work together on basic shapes or advanced shapes, and lastly with some shortcuts. Starting off with this mandala design, we are going to see how we can use it on a basic shape. When you have a design this big, it's very important that you know how to use each element, how to change each element without changing the entire design, and that's where your group selection tool comes into picture. I will be taking you through each one of these slides and layers in this particular mandala design so you can understand it better what I'm talking about when I say the design elements are quite a lot and you cannot simply select each one of them and change them manually. So let's get started with a basic design. So I'm going to hide all these layers for this mandala design and build a basic shape from scratch. Now I'm going to use the very basic shapes like circles and squares. So I'm just selecting a circle and building it out. I have selected my layers panel on so that you can see even this small design has so many layers selected inside of it. And if you group it, it's going to be very difficult to make changes. So we are going to select a few shapes and create groups only for them. And before doing that, I'm simply going to select and give them some color so that we can differentiate which shape we are working on. Now imagine selecting these shapes when you already have a shape as the background which has a shape color already selected. So you will not be able to select it all by simply dragging, and if you drag it outside, it's going to select all of your shapes. So it's very difficult to work in the smaller elements for a design with only a direct selection tool, and that's where your group selection tool comes into picture. Now what we are going to do is we are going to select these shapes and group them into a smaller group. Now you'll see the changes on the layers panel. Now I'm going to select the circle and create another single group for this circle. Now if you move, the entire element moves with it inside that group. Let's create a group for the square as well, and now we are simply hiding it all so that we can select these smaller shapes and group them again. So if I show them all, you see each of these groups. Now if you select the direct selection tool, it's only going to select the shape that we are selecting. Now select the group selection tool and hit once on the inner shape. It's going to select only that particular shape inside that group. If you click on it again, it's going to select all three shapes inside that group. Now if you click on it again, it's not going to do anything because it's at the very top of its chain. I'm going to zoom it out. Now let's say I group the inner shape and the circle together. So you see in this shape, now we have two groups, one with the inner shape and one with only a circle. Let's try the group selection tool on this design element now. If I select this, it's only going to select one shape inside the first group. If I select it again, it's selecting that particular group. Now if I click on it again, notice what happens. It's going to select the circle as well. So it moves up until it reaches the final group it is in. Now you can select it as many times as you want. It's not going to do anything because it has selected all the elements inside that group. So that's how a group selection tool works. It gives you the functionality and the flexibility to work on single smaller elements that are grouped together. Now when you have the design selected, you can switch to the direct selection tool and make any changes you want in that group. Still going to stay grouped. So if you exit and try to move this element, you would notice that this is still grouped in the same group. So that's how it works on the basic tool. Now if I select the outer circle, I can even change the colors and it's only going to change the color for that particular design. Now if I select this, it has selected all the elements. I'm going to select only the inner ones and let's try to give them a color. Notice what happens. It's going to change the color for only the inner elements of that group. You can select it, you can apply transparency or any kind of effects that you want, but I'm going to leave it into multiply state. It looks perfect. Now let's try to apply the group selection tool on the advanced design that we had initially with us. So I'm going to remove this design and let's unhide the layers for the advanced shape. Now if I click on this particular mandala, you would see that there are already some grouped elements in advance. So if I move this, only this particular design is going to move. If I expand, you can see there are multiple shapes only in this one grouped element. Now imagine if you ungroup it and change it manually. It's going to be very difficult to locate which design you are working on. But if it's grouped, it's very easy to simply select that design and make the changes. Now let's select the group selection tool. I'm going to exit it out once. Right now it has selected all the elements. If you select outside, and then select only on one line, it's only going to select that one particular line. You can go ahead, delete them, you can go ahead, change the colors for those designs and for those lines, and it's still going to remain grouped. That is a great functionality in Adobe Illustrator and it still keeps your entire layer panel clean along with your design. Now I'm sure that you work on several designs with several clients and group selection tool makes it easy for you to work on every single design. Let's wrap everything up with some shortcuts that are going to help you design faster, better and efficient. So I hope you guys liked it. If you do give us a thumbs up, subscribe and push the notification bell icon. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below and I would be happy to answer. See you next time.